build the game like, I don't know, 4 years ago and then decide to yourself you should rebuild it 2 years ago and then decide yourself once again you should rebuild it again? Now, guys, I love this series. Basically, I built a game a long time ago. I did remake it once and it was probably 10 times better. And I'm gonna remake it again, hopefully 10 times more better than the 10 times. Back into the selfie sim game. I've got my idea put together. I've got a bit of a block out done, sort of a rough idea of where I want things to be. And today, I want to build at least the shop, but we might be getting into the first zone as well. I know there's one thing wrong with a good percent of my videos. I do not enough. I need to do more work per video, so there's more entertainment. Yep, that makes sense. All right, so guys, here's the idea. I want to make this area right here, this gray area, into a castle. And then this will be the drawbridge that goes over this river. Yes, very simple block out, but I think it is going to do. So first things first, we need to hop into Blender and make ourselves sort of like a castle asset pack. I think it'll be fine. Now, I do have a little bit of an idea for this. I want to keep it sort of in the same build style as Vortex Simulator, which is a game I made quite a while back, but still one of my favorite maps that I've built. It was pretty much all a gradient color palette, and there's just something so close to my heart about gradient color palettes. I gotta be honest, maybe someday I'll learn how to do cooler texturing, but for now, and for a simulator, I think this will work. Let's start this out with a cylinder, and we can drop this back to maybe 24 sides. Let's do shade smooth, auto smooth, and let's try to get some sort of cool. We're going for the corner pieces first, the actual towers people could stand in. Probably not in the game, but in real life. So let's do something like this, and then let's bevel the top and the bottom. The whole idea being a super soft vibe. Now I'm gonna grab this face and extrude it, and then I'm gonna scale it out, just like that. Then we're gonna extrude and scale and bring it up, getting a nice tower shape already. Now I'm going to delete the face, all right? And I'm gonna do extrude, scale, grab this ring, and we're gonna deselect this and this. Now we should be able to select and check or deselect and have every other one of these. Perfect. And I think for the insides here, I wanna add a bit of a bevel as well. So now that we have all of that, let's go ahead and bevel these. We don't exactly want that shading error. All right, I'm not exactly mad with this shape. It's not exactly what I wanted, but it might have to do. We're gonna scale this down just a little bit because I think it was a little too exaggerated. And then we're gonna start adding some cuteness, dare I say. First things first, we need a bevel right here. Our vertex bevels are definitely giving us some shading errors. So I think I'm gonna have to think of a different way to make this little top piece because I have it envisioned. My skill set's not really lining up with my vision. I genuinely have the gist of the idea. And what I'm trying to do is this would come down like this and across, and these would be like 3D shingles, something like this. I can't draw, but you get the point. And then this portion, let's just put it red for now. I want it curved on the bottom and then like wavy like that, but of course without the shading errors. So I'm trying to figure that out, and every like method I try, I keep getting the shading errors, but I'm gonna keep trying because I want this game to like have nice stuff, man. I want to be proud of something again. I guess for now, I will leave them as sharp points. Every bevel I do, it doesn't exactly work in my favor. I could do this, something like that, and we don't really get any shading errors. Maybe I'll keep it like that. It's kind of the opposite of what I wanted though. I wanted the downwards to be nice and smooth, and then still to be pointy on the tops. But when I bevel these, I just don't get much luck. As you can see, we start getting a little bit of shading errors, but I guess you don't really notice those at the moment. There we go. I think that looks all right. Also, it could be a very easy fix, but it is 2 o'clock in the morning, so I may just be overlooking it. But now that we have this one done, that will be one part of the pack. I'm gonna model some cute bricks, like just real soft looking bricks, and maybe a window or two, maybe a wall. I don't know. So the window idea, I don't want to keep it super boxy. I think if we add a loop cut here and there, we can then add in our window windows by just insetting like so. We got to press I twice to inset individuals. And I think we will just extrude those back. Now for this outside edge, we will add a little bit of a bevel. Inside edge as well, just because we want to keep that super cute, like sort of bubbly look. I think that looks pretty good. Last thing we need to do to soften it up a little bit more is going to be beveling these edges. We'll bevel those. Wow. This guy right here's not too happy. Definitely got a little bit of a love-hate with this window. Yeah. Love it and I hate it. Nothing else I could really say. For the bricks, it's quite literally just cubes that we kind of squish. We'll scale these down, scale them on the Z-axis, and of course, scale them on the X-axis. And then we just bevel them and shade smooth. This is pretty much what the cubes are gonna be, or the bricks. I'm just gonna make like, I don't know, 3 different ones, and we'll be able to play around with them in studio. All right, now that we have this, we need to start thinking about things that we'll be able to use in studio, but being able to scale them. Meaning we can't have any bevels on either of the edges because then when you scale it, the bevel stretches. So I am going to grab this little block. We're going to scale it down, scale it on the X-axis, and then once again on the Z-axis. And when we bevel, we're only going to bevel these 2 lines, just like this, and then shade smooth. Now, if we stretch this, we might bevel that one more time. But if we stretch this, it won't stretch any of the bevels. As you can see, far or as little as we want, and everything will be a-okay. So now that we have all of this stuff, let's hop into studio. Oh, maybe we should gradient. I do think I wanted to gradient this one. Why, hello there, my old friend. The color palette. All right, guys, everything is textured. Now let's hop into studio and start placing some stuff around. It should start coming together there. All right, guys, Farmer's Tan is finally back in studio. So first things first, I'm gonna rotate these, and I want these to be the forefront, like quite massive. I do wish I made a squished version. These seem a bit massive. Let me delete the window for now, and I could just squish it. I mean, I did make them like that. So we'll see. I'm gonna put one right here, and I want to sink that into the ground just a hair. I'd say that works. We could really get rid of these plates here. Now let's toss one on the other side as well, right about here. Oh yeah, I think those don't look too bad. Duplicate, push them back, and then of course out to the sides. My headset just died. That's beautiful. Guess we could take that off then. Holy cow, I always talk this loud. All right, so we have our main things. I'm gonna duplicate this again, scale it down, drag it up, and these are going to be our main entrance pieces. I'm trying to stick with a very like fun color palette. All right, we'll go for something like this. Now for the walls, it's just going to be a Roblox part, but that's why we made those little bands in Blender, because they are going to help bring this all together. Let's stretch this across, bring these 2 forward a little bit. That's okay. We probably are going to have to bring these 2 back just a bit, something like this. And then really we could delete this, make the water larger, something like that. We'll figure out the main details here in a moment. Now let's put one on this side. Looks like these are gonna have to go over as well. Probably should just copy these 2 and make it all squared. I was trying to avoid that, but it'll be all right. Now progressively, I want to make the walls smaller, so huge in the back, small in the front, and then we would do a medium on the sides. This, I don't know why, but I just think it'll make a lot of a difference. Something like this, looking real nice. Now we have all of these. I've got a gold trim, a purple trim, and a gray trim. I think we're going to try gold first, and I'm going to place this right on top of this wall and scale it so it's a bit oversized. Yes, dude. Would one on the bottom look good? You know, I don't know. Maybe a gray one? For now, we're not going to have any. Toss one on the other side. Yeah, that actually looks pretty sick. So far, so good, guys. I really like this. I do think we need a purple beam just to like get some more of that purple around. I'm not sure exactly where though. So I am going to stretch this a little bit this way and a little bit into the water. And I'm going to try this. Let's bring it back. What do we think? I can't tell if that's like, we'll keep it for now. I don't know if we'll keep it forever though. And I think it'll only go on the front section here. That's not too bad. All right, let me get all my ideas together kind of in my head in one spot. And then we're gonna move on with this, but I am pretty proud of it so far. All right, guys, so for the gray beam, I am gonna have them, but I'm gonna put them inside. I just think it'll be pretty nice. I'm also gonna sink them halfway into the ground. So it seems like just sort of a beveled edge, which we don't see too much in Roblox, but that's kind of why I want it. I did change the walls. I used the color picker to try to match it the best I could with the gradient on these. Of course, there's no gradient on the walls, but I think that would be a little bit overkill. If there's one thing I know about the gradient style, guys, it's very easy to overdo it. And some would say that this is overdone, but I like it. All right, so now that we have that done, let's go ahead and grab a texture for the floor. I think we're gonna go with stylized and something like this, but with a very low transparency. Because I like this one too. All right, let's try it. We just need it on the top. Let's try this one. Okay, now it's transparency. We need to go quite a bit higher, like barely visible. And the part itself, I think gray work. Wow, that's so harsh. I'm kind of liking this just like that. I think these are gonna have to come in a little bit so the chains have something to connect to. So let's just put those in the halfway spot, about right there. And hopefully that's enough room for players still. All right, up next, I'm going to go back into Blender, make this door and the chains, and then we'll bring it back into here and it should look pretty awesome. All right, guys, so back in Blender, I don't think I'm gonna keep that rounded aesthetic at the end of the door simply because it doesn't really need it. Our doorway isn't rounded or anything, so I don't think it's too important to have a rounded door. I'm gonna basically make it like a dock. So we'll scale one of these down, scale it on the x-axis, and then flatten it quite a bit by scaling on the z-axis. Now we're going to duplicate it and just move it over. In fact, let me try to be a pro Blender user and do an array modifier. Oh my gosh, guys, look, I'm becoming pro. I want those pretty close together, and let's do 6. Ooh, 5's kind of nice too. Let's do 5. Oh man, I'm so pro. Now what I want to do is add a little bit of variations. So we're going to drag this one back and this one forward, and then we'll go to the other side and do this one forward, this one back, and this one forward. So now we have just a little bit of variation in these boards. Up next, we could do some loop cuts and just squiggle them ever so slightly. Now remember, guys, this is such a small detail. You're not really going to need to go crazy. Like, you don't need to have boards like this. It's just a little bit to make it seem a little less perfect, because of course it doesn't need to be perfect. We're actually going to keep that one straight, and we'll have this one coming out just a little bit. Not too bad. Let's bring in another square and add a little, I guess, band around it. I'm not sure what to call it. Something like this. Now I kind of want to add in little spikes into the boards, like some nails, but this is going to get scaled up pretty massive, and I don't want players to be like interfered with. Like if you're walking and then it seems like you're walking onto something, I don't think that would be the bestest of ideas. Another thing that we could do is bevel the edges, something like this, and that does give a little bit of wear and tear on the boards, but I don't know if that has like that cutesy style. I feel like that would get a little too, I don't know, too detailed, too realistic, but nonetheless, I think something like this looks pretty cool. Another thing that we could do is take individual boards and move them slightly down or slightly up. This is going to have just a little bit different colors on the boards and just give us that little bit more variation. We'll have to do a little bit. We're going to drop this down, of course, so it's just pretty much lined up with the ground. Maybe one taller. If it does interfere with players, we can always use invisible wedges as ramps. And then this, let's angle just a little bit to add a little bit of depth. Depth might not have been the right word, but we're going with it. I keep using the Blender movements in studio. Honestly, this isn't looking too bad. Hopping into play, I like the sizing of it. Oh, the map progression looks pretty cool. I haven't seen another game progress like this, so I'm very excited for this one. Oh, sizing is great as well. All right, time to move on. Let's go ahead and grab a nice texture for this water. We're gonna hop back into the stylized, and there is plenty of water textures. I'm kind of liking this one. Of course, transparency needs to be at like maybe a 8. Yeah, something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and add on a bunch of these. Gold is probably a bit overkill, so we are going to stay with the gray ones. I'm going to add on the windows as well, and maybe even a couple little terrain pieces to kind of bring this sort of out and down, so we would have terrain kind of working itself off in these directions. All right, guys, it is now 3:30 in the morning. I think I'm doing pretty decent on this build. I want to add in some beams right here. This will be a shop area. Then we have the daily reward rewards and the group rewards, which both need a chest. Not sure if I'm modeling that tonight or not. I am getting just a little bit tired, but I'm also trying to do more per video so you guys have more to watch. Anyways, let's at least get some pedestals maybe for the cameras and like elevate a little bit. Right now, everything is flat in here, and I think some elevation would definitely help. And I want some sort of beam on this back wall just because I think it would look cool. Anything you can add that's like a bit animated or a bit more lively would be great. And then of course lighting, because we need to do that. All right, guys, I got the lighting, I got the beams, and here's a little bit of the elevation. I think I'm gonna use the beveler plugin just to add a little bit of roundness to this. I'm gonna do it to everything that's up here. I just think it helps make it look so much more modern. Look at that, man. Now I will take the back cylinders off of this and stretch this to the back, just so not everything is the same. I'm gonna do the same with the gold ones on the side. I feel like it just gives like a nice look. Rounded front, squared back, pretty nice. Now I think I want to have 5 cameras, and we are just going to do a placeholder thing for the cameras for now because it's getting very late. But here's the idea: 5 cameras here, chest here and here. Then we'll have an upgrade shop somewhere like this, kind of like having it right up against upgrade and a cell. So in today's video, we got all of this done, and then in the next one, hopefully we can actually model the pedestals, the chest, the cell area, and the upgrade area, and maybe even start working our way out here a little bit. But I think for today, that is going to wrap it up. If you did enjoy and you want to see more content like this, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day.